Have you ever questioned whether the people who enter your life are part of a divine plan? At times, things seem beyond explanation, yet they lead you to someone who feels deeply meant to be part of your path. Is this the work of a higher power? In this video, we'll uncover the profound signs God sends to guide you and another person toward one another. Stay tuned, as you may find a miraculous revelation unfolding in your life. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our insightful content on faith and life. God's presence is constant, and He is involved in every aspect of our lives, whether it's the smallest moments or the most consequential choices. Yet not everyone acknowledges or trusts this truth. God's love transcends our understanding, and He continuously guides us quietly along the right path. This is particularly evident in matters like marriage, a sacred relationship that God cherishes and created with a holy purpose. Marriage is far more than a union of two people. It is a profound symbol of the bond between God and His church. For this reason, God establishes high and clear standards for marriage, aiming for it to be a living example of divine love and unwavering commitment. When you listen and open your heart to God's guidance, you will begin to see the signs He sends to help you find your true life partner. Below are some unmistakable signs that you may notice when God is guiding you toward a special relationship. Let's uncover them and see how His magnificent plan is at work. Initially, when God plans to lead you to someone significant, He will leave unmistakable and unforgettable signs to help you recognize His intention among the countless choices in life. But how do you know it's God speaking? This depends heavily on how intimate your relationship is with Him, as well as how attuned you are to His voice. God doesn't speak to everyone in the same way. He understands each of us personally and knows exactly how to reach us, so we can feel His presence in a way that speaks to us. When something as significant as marriage is at stake, God will be even more patient and explicit to guide you without confusion. Think about how you can instantly recognize the voice of someone you love. At first, you may feel unsure, but through repeated interactions, you grow more familiar with them, to the point where even the faintest sound is enough to recognize them. Similarly, communication with God requires time, bonding, and trust. If you maintain a close relationship with God, recognizing when He speaks to you becomes effortless. He will use the familiar means you're accustomed to, such as dreams, feelings of deep inner peace, or even through the words of those around you. A recurring dream where this person appears, accompanied by an unusually comforting warmth, might be God's subtle way of guiding you. Or perhaps your loved ones or friends will casually mention that you and this person would make an amazing pair, as though the universe is confirming His plans. You will also start noticing how events in your life begin to revolve around this person. It could be coincidental encounters, remarks from those around you, or the sensation that their presence always aligns with positive events in your life. Above all, the most significant sign is the profound peace and trust you feel when thinking about them. God will never leave you in confusion. Instead, He will affirm your trust through repeated messages, making it clear that this is the person He has chosen for you. To truly recognize these signs, you must be willing to open your heart, listen carefully, and accept God's guidance. Each sign, each reminder, is a way He helps you discover the perfect piece of your life's puzzle. Just trust, and you'll begin to see the miraculous work He's performing. When God is preparing someone special for you, you'll notice that everything feels just right and falls into place in a way that's almost magical. There's no confusion or uncertainty in your feelings for that person, only a deep and reassuring certainty that comes from within your heart. Though you may occasionally question this choice due to its significance, deep in your soul, you'll know with certainty that this person is the one. Realizing this often comes through real-life experiences where you have the chance to interact with this person in different aspects of your life. In these moments, you'll realize how well the two of you align, as if everything was predestined. Feel a connection so natural, as though it was destined to happen. You'll find a remarkable sense of confidence that God has planned every detail perfectly, bringing you and this person together. Not only will you feel an undeniable connection, but the other person will also feel it, creating a harmony that is both deep and inexplicable. To illustrate this, let's take examples from the Bible, such as the stories of Adam and Eve and Isaac and Rebekah. Don't forget to like and share this video with your dear friend so they can be inspired by these marriage stories too. The story of Adam and Eve begins at the dawn of creation. In the book of Genesis, Adam is described as the first man God created from the dust of the earth, and he breathed life into him. Adam lived in the Garden of Eden, a place of perfect harmony. But God saw that it is not good for the man to be alone, Genesis 2:18. So he decided to make a companion for him. God then made Adam fall into a deep sleep and took one of his ribs to create the first woman, Eve. When Adam woke and saw Eve, he joyfully declared, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man." Genesis 2:23. This declaration not only acknowledges their creation, but symbolizes a deep bond between them, as though they were destined to be together. The relationship between Adam and Eve is a perfect example of God's plan for marriage, a sacred and unbreakable union. The story of Isaac and Rebekah in Genesis 24 also shows God's divine guidance in love and marriage. After Isaac's mother Sarah passed away, Abraham realized that it was time for his son to have a wife. However, Abraham did not want Isaac to take a wife from the Canaanite people, where their family was residing. Instead, he wished for the bride to come from his own homeland and lineage. Abraham sent his trusted servant, traditionally identified as Eliezer, to Padan Aram to find a wife for Isaac. Before reaching the town, the servant prayed to God for a clear sign. "Let the girl to whom I say, 'Please let down your jar that I may drink,' and who answers, 'Drink, and I will also water your camels. Let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac." Genesis 24:14. Right after the prayer, Rebekah appeared carrying a water jar on her shoulder. When the servant asked for a drink, she not only gave him water, but also immediately drew water for his camels. Her kindness and hospitality confirmed that she was the one God had chosen. Upon discovering that Rebekah belonged to Abraham's family, the servant asked her family to allow her to accompany him. When Rebekah met Isaac, she covered her face, signifying her humility and readiness for marriage. Isaac, upon seeing her, immediately recognized her as the one God had chosen for him. The Bible records, Isaac took Rebekah as his wife, and she became his wife. He loved her, and Isaac was comforted after the death of his mother. Genesis 24:67. These stories are not just about love, but also demonstrate God's direction in finding a life partner. Through the stories of Adam and Eve and Isaac and Rebekah, we see that when God orchestrates things, everything falls into place perfectly, bringing peace and blessings to marriage. Thirdly, to fully grasp how our relationship with God shapes our choices of spouse and marriage, it is essential to understand that this relationship serves as the foundation of all other relationships in life. Our connection with God is not just another aspect of life. It is the key determinant of all our actions and decisions. When considering marriage, a relationship that God has divinely ordained, it becomes clear that a solid relationship with God is necessary to avoid making mistakes in choosing a life partner. God desires for us to marry those who possess a steadfast faith. A core teaching about marriage in the Bible is that we are to marry individuals who are committed to God and have a sincere and unwavering faith. This is vitally important because choosing a partner who lacks faith in God can lead us down the wrong path, drawing us away from God and causing our faith to falter. The Bible also warns that marrying someone who does not share our faith could pull our hearts away from God, 1 Corinthians 6:14, which is why God cautions us against forming relationships with individuals who do not honor Him or share the same spiritual values. How does God direct us in finding a life partner? When you seek a spouse, God doesn't leave you to figure it out alone. Instead, He leads you through clear signs. These signs can manifest in various ways, such as dreams, an inner sense of peace, or the deep connection you feel when you meet the right person. Above all, the person must be someone who is committed to respecting God and keeping the relationship anchored in His guidance. You'll realize that when you are with this person, you feel drawn closer to God, never tempted or pushed to do anything wrong, but instead they'll always encourage you to follow God's lead. Your relationship with God and marriage cannot be separated. God's most important teaching is that your relationship with Him must come before your marriage. Marriage is not the ultimate priority in life. Your relationship with God is foundational, shaping and influencing every other relationship, including marriage. Your closeness to God is what will guide you in choosing the right spouse. A fulfilling marriage will not take you further from God, but will draw you closer to Him. You'll feel that God is revealing to you that the right partner is someone who shares your faith, helping you grow in love and your relationship with Him. Signs that a relationship brings you closer to God. When you're with the person God has for you, that relationship will strengthen your faith. Your spouse will not only be a partner in life's practical aspects, but will also support you spiritually, helping you deepen your understanding of God. Your relationship with that person will not pull you away from God. Instead, it will reinforce your faith and inspire you to live according to His principles. This person will motivate you to pray, read the Bible, and walk in the path God desires for you. The relationship with God must come before marriage. Above all, we must always remember that our relationship with God should be our first priority. God doesn't want us to pursue marriage for personal or societal reasons. He wants us to build a strong relationship with Him first and foremost. It's only by living according to God's guidance that we can have a solid and flourishing marriage. Everything in life stems from that foundational relationship. When you keep God at the center of your life and your marriage, not only will your relationship thrive, but it will also receive His blessings. To sum up, while marriage is an important aspect of God's plan, it is only when we put God first and seek His guidance that we can find the right partner. A relationship with God will always be the key to building a fulfilling and lasting marriage. Ultimately, God has a clear and organized plan for each life, and this plan applies not only to significant areas like career and ministry, but also to marriage. He doesn't merely guide us in finding a spouse, but He prepares us, developing us into a person capable of growing with the partner He has set aside for us. This preparation is no accident. Each step we take, each lesson we learn, is part of God's grand design for us to become the ideal spouse for the one He has chosen. God always prepares us before we meet our life partner. One thing we must recognize is that God's preparation comes before the union. He never leaves us to wander aimlessly in search of a spouse without guidance. To sum up, while marriage is an important aspect of God's plan, it is only when we put God first and seek His guidance that we can find the right partner. A relationship with God will always be the key to building a fulfilling and lasting marriage. Every challenge, every lesson we face in life is carefully orchestrated to equip us for the kind of strong, lasting relationship God wants us to have with the partner He has prepared for us. The danger of rushing ahead without God's preparation. One of the biggest mistakes many make in choosing a spouse is failing to be patient and waiting for God's preparation. In the rush to escape loneliness, they may settle for a relationship that isn't right, unaware that rushing ahead without God's guidance often leads to poor choices. We must remember that every phase of our lives presents an opportunity for personal growth, spiritual development, and deepening our relationship with God. When we refuse to walk with Him in crucial areas like our career, faith, and marriage, we are not adequately prepared to meet the spouse God has designed for us. God trains us and our future spouse. The fascinating part is that while God is shaping us, He is also preparing the partner He has set aside for us. Everyone experiences a unique process of growth, but God will guide both us and our spouse through the necessary lessons and trials to help us come together and create a lasting, loving relationship. Marriage is not merely the coming together of two people, but the union of two individuals who have been carefully prepared by God, mature enough to help each other grow in faith, love, and spiritual maturity. Our relationship with God is the solid foundation. The key truth is that our relationship with God must form the bedrock for all other relationships, including marriage. God will not only guide us to find our spouse, but He will prepare us to become loving, respectful partners who always honor Him in every step of our relationship. When we are aligned with God, we will recognize that the partner He has chosen for us is the one who will walk alongside us to build a strong relationship, helping us grow stronger in both faith and love. God's preparation for us is not merely a personal journey. It is part of His grand design to help us recognize the partner He has chosen for us. He desires that we mature and become strong enough to build a marriage full of love and faith, where He is at the center, and everything we do brings glory to Him. If we genuinely wish to understand God's guidance regarding the spouse He has appointed for us, we must focus and practice vital principles in our everyday lives. Here are 3 key practices that can help us recognize God's direction regarding our future spouse. First, dedicate time to grow closer to God through prayer and reflection. God is always ready to guide us, but we must listen carefully and seek His presence in every step of our journey. Spending private moments in prayer and contemplation about significant decisions, particularly those about marriage, is essential. God will not guide us in vague ways. He will lead us through inner peace, thoughts, and even signs from our daily experiences. Prayer allows us to dispel confusion, purify our minds, and create space for God to speak to us more clearly. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him. James 1:5. Second, be patient and trust God's perfect timing. God has a unique plan and schedule for each of us, and He will never rush in His guidance. The key is to remain patient and trust that He will reveal things at the right time. Though we may experience moments of loneliness or feel the urge to rush into a relationship, we must remember that God's preparation often takes time. Patience and waiting will allow us to recognize the partner God has prepared for us at the perfect time. During this period, we must continue growing and working alongside God in other areas of our lives. Third, studying the Bible is essential for recognizing God's guidance about our spouse and other life decisions. The Bible is not just a sacred text, but a timeless source of wisdom that illuminates God's will for us in all aspects of life. God chose the Bible as His means of communication in this era, and through it, He will lead us. Without engaging with the Bible, we may struggle to hear God's direction, as He has provided specific guidance on relationships, marriage, and living in faith. Thus, studying and applying the teachings of the Bible is crucial for recognizing God's guidance about our spouse. By living according to His principles, we open our hearts to embrace the guidance that God is offering us. I hope this video has provided you with valuable insights and inspiration. Thank you for being with us. Please remember to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. May God bless you and your family abundantly. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.